Gentlefolk, I have written a love letter for our final performer of the evening. It was so hard to keep this to one piece of paper. I love this man so deeply. It is very personal. Bear with me. Dear Baruch, you, a gay man, took me on one of the best dates of my life. We bought books and ate cake. We told each other how brilliant we are. And you looked so good.
Always. Always. Always.
Always. Then, just before parting, you insisted we eat pork buns while you told funny stories. You ruined the standard for straight men and queer women. And I love you for it. Adoringly, Meg. Gentlefolk of Cliterary Salon, I give you Baruch Porras-Hernandez!
Can we please clap for Meg, because she's fucking amazing. Gorgeous. All that was true. We did have a nice cake date, and then I was like, no, we gotta go get some dim sum. And we ate pork buns. It was amazing. Hello everyone, my name is Baruch Porras-Hernandez, and I have some vignettes about how love is gross for you all tonight. Starting with a poem titled Dating Tips for Lonely Gay Men. When my friend is out on a date, he asks me for advice. I text him back, why? He says, because you're a poet. I say, the usual. Be yourself, be honest, and have fun. He texts me back, dude, gay men are trash, that never works. I text him back, all of what you said is true. He keeps texting me, no matter what, even when I stop responding, as if it is my job as the poet to help my gay friend get some dick. So I just start to text him bullshit. I start to text him, tell him he is like apples, crisp and sweet. You like apple juice. Say you want to sit him on the head of a small boy and stab an arrow through him. If that doesn't work, just whisper the word, anal. Tell him he gets the nuts on your coconut donut. You want to park the walls of his jelly roll. Peel him like a fruit roll-up. If that doesn't work, just text him anal. Tell him you will never leave him. Even if he gets evicted and loses his job and has to get food stamps and can't go to brunch anymore, because the connection is all you need. Love is free, and so is anal. Tell him you're so into him you'd be willing to listen to Katy Perry all day, especially during anal. Tell him you're so into him that you'd be willing to let him pee on you, even pee inside you during anal. Love is gross, you guys. Tell him your skills include gently caressing his balls in your mouth with your tongue while simultaneously cutting you both a piece of pie out of the fridge, because you're a multitasking kind of man. Anal. Tell him you believe in gay rights. His right to make you a sandwich and his right to give you some anal. Tell him our gay ancestors didn't die for our freedom, so you would have to wait till the second date for some motherfucking anal. Tell him that when he gets old, you'll most likely leave him for a 24-year-old toxic twink who has a career in the tech industry and already owns a house. But you two can still be friends, right? And maybe once in a while, have a little bit of anal? My last text to him was, tell him he has nice eyes. Here's my next poem. The moon. When I see it stretch itself across the night sky, I remember the time the maker pulled it from the mouth like a pearl. A gift for us, glowing in the midnight blue. I feel your heartbeat in every man I hold. I never make love to them, I don't. How can I? They all have your eyes. The garden was not enough. The maker was lonely. We had grown wrapped around each other, so we were transformed. You know, I often wish that I had remained a tree. The fucking was fantastic. I do remember that. What else were we gonna do but enjoy each other? Then you decided to stop kissing me because you got a little sad for some motherfucking reason. You got very pensive and I got worried. You said more should experience this. More should experience paradise, you told me. I said, can you shut up and can we go back to fucking? But you wouldn't do that. You got more sad and then kind of disappeared. When it happened, when you begged the maker to pull her from your ribs, I was swimming in the lake. The fish began to tell me what was happening, but an angel came and pulled me from the water. I beat my weak arms against it. We wrestled in midair until we crashed down. It confessed to me that it had been ordered to distract me so the maker could keep spoiling you, you stupid fuck. I ran all the way across that fucking garden, but by the time I got there, it was too late. She was more glorious than the moon. She was more glorious than the garden itself, and with her, you could make more. Now the planet, covered with your stupid idiot children, quickly destroying the maker's work. No wonder he doesn't speak to us anymore. I'm sorry she left you after all this time. I'm sorry you feel lonely. I'm sorry you're still self-obsessed. But Adam, this world, if your stupid children destroy it, you will have to watch it die alone. Sincerely, Steve. When I was really young, I was about 4 years old. I fell in love with this strapping 16-year-old back in Mexico. He was hot, he had nice shoulders, he had a little six-pack. The future was ahead of him. He was a neighbor, and he had come over to ask my mother for advice on love. He said, I am in love. I asked my mother what that was, and she was like, shh. And he was like, Rosa, I'm in love. And my mother was like, that is stupid. And then he says, I feel so out of control and wild. And my mother was like, yeah, because you're in love. Don't let that shit fuck you up. I mean, she didn't say it like that, but that's how I remember it. My mother tells this young man that love is dangerous and that he should keep it in check and not trust it. This 16-year-old tells my mother she's wrong, and that he's gonna go to his love tonight. He's gonna take his bike and meet her at a party. My mother just looks at him and goes, don't you have like tests coming up? You should stay home and study. I asked my mom what love is after he leaves. She says, for idiots. And walks away. I dreamt about that boy that night, thinking what amazing things he was going to do to whatever girl he was bicycling towards. But there was a rainstorm, and then a truck plowed him over and killed him. Whoa. When I asked my mom what the fuck was up with that, she just said, love. Fast forward, I'm in a sex club. I'm walking around. I see this beautiful, gorgeous man turn around with his ass out in the air. I love eating ass. So I got down to business. It smelled perfect. Like he had just taken a shower an hour ago, but still smelled like man. It was clean, but it was still like manly. I went to town on that butt because I love eating ass. And this man was moaning like a slut. It was amazing. I was so good, he stopped and said, "Can we get out of here?" I was like, "Yeah, we can, buddy." So we put our clothes back on. We go back to my place. He goes into my place, strips down. I'm like trying to get the lube and the condoms together. He falls back on my bed, legs up, and tells me to go to town. I'm like, okay, so I start eating his ass again. It's amazing because I'm really good at it. By the way, man, I'm really good at it. Like a gentleman, I try jerking him off, and he gently nudges my hand away. I keep, eating his ass. I go up and touch his nipples like a gentleman, and he nudges my hand away. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. So finally, I try to take a break and try to go down on him, and he kind of stops me. And I'm like, he's like, no thanks. And I'm like, oh, all right. And so I try to kiss him, and he's like, no. And I'm like, oh, all right, do you want me to rinse off? I just had my tongue in your asshole. I understand why you want me to go put some mouthwash in there before we start kissing. And he was like, I don't kiss. I'm like, okay, why? And he goes, because that's gay. I'm literally my tongue is kind of in his ass, and I pull it. I'm like, excuse me? His balls are right here. And he explains to me that he is a heterosexual, but he really loves getting his ass eaten, and his wife won't do it. So his wife has given him permission to get his ass eaten by men, as long as it's never by a woman, and as long as he never lets a guy fuck him. And I laughed for 20 minutes. I was like, but you're I don't understand. And he was like, look, buddy, I'm not gay. I just really love getting my ass eaten, okay? And I was just like, okay. And I went back to rimming his ass, and he shot all over himself. And we had a very long relationship for 6 months. It was a wonderful understanding. So we're going to flash back to university. I was taking a class on human sexuality, and the professor tells us that they've discovered what love is. The class gets very quiet. She tells us the chemicals in our brain are what love is. She tells us they've pinpointed the chemicals, they've pinpointed how it works in our brains and how we believe we're in love, how our bodies react to it, when scientists think humans started to fall in love, and how our need to reproduce evolved from that into love somehow, and how it doesn't actually last that long in our brains. She says eventually it goes away, and that certain magic that old couples have is actually something different, something they call companionship attachment bonding. And that is different than love, this professor says. The class takes it pretty well, except for the bro sitting next to me, who was weeping. I unfortunately knew the dude. He was a bro in my very, very straight theater department that was obsessed with Sam Shepard. This was the first time I had seen him cry. He turned to me red-faced and was like, how fucking dare she, bro? And I was like, how fucking dare she what? How dare she try to tell us that they know what love is? No one knows what love is. Literally just rivers coming down his eyes. He was like, no one knows what love is. Love is a mystery. Love can't be tamed. I was like, you're starting to scream in this very quiet university class. And he just started to scream love can't be explained. Love will never be fully understood. Love is magic. How dare she? How fucking dare she? The whole class starts to look at us, and I'm just like, oh, I'm not with him. I asked him, why do you care? And he starts sobbing even more. He starts doing that thing men do, and he just puts his head down on his desk and he starts screaming, Julia! Julia, why? Julia! Julia, why? I knew Julia. And I knew why. Let him keep crying, because I knew Julia was not coming back. Flashback to me being very young. I'm 10 years old. I ask again my mother, who is a writer and a poet herself. So I'm expecting her to give me like a beautiful sonnet about what love is. But here I am, 10, we live in the US now, and I'm like, okay, Mom, fucking just tell me now, what is love? And she just gets quiet and says, cruelty. I said, huh? What's wrong with you? She looks at me and says, love is cruelty, because like God, it will give you everything, and just like God, it will take it away. What the hell are you talking about, Mom? My mom pulls over and says, God gives us life, this planet, its bounty, but to teach you that you can't have it all, he punishes us and takes things away, just like love. Nothing is perfect, Baruch. I'm not perfect. You're definitely not perfect. And you know what else isn't perfect? Love. Mom, I'm so confused, I said. My mother takes a deep breath and says, happiness does not exist. You need to be okay with that now. I just was like, what? She's like, the pursuit of happiness exists. That exists. But it doesn't, like, she's like, it doesn't matter. And love, that also kind of exists, and that also kind of doesn't matter. She tells me a long, convoluted story about a young couple that she was friends with. She was a 6, but super smart, and a doctor, which was not attractive at the time for women in the 70s in Mexico. He was a 9, and a doctor, but kind of a wimpy nerd, which was not attractive at the time in the 70s in Mexico. So they equaled each other out, and were a perfect match. My mother set them up to meet by sending them to have coffee with her, but then she didn't show up. She watched from behind the plant that she was hiding behind, as their eyes met, and it was sparks. Big ass sparks, she said. Amazing love sparks. All of Mexico swooned at this couple, started to fall in love, and more love, and more love. It was love pouring out of them. Everyone was watching them like a telenovela. He didn't drink. She looked really hot when she took off her glasses. It was perfect. They both loved music. They learned how to dance from my mother so they could dance at their wedding that she decorated and organized. Imagine it, 2 doctors, both young, so in love. It was the talk of the town. It made the motherfucking news. And then my mother gets quiet. She goes, and then God came to remind us all that love doesn't matter. She got cancer. He worked tirelessly to help her through it. She got a little bit better. We all were like, oh, thank God. And then he got cancer. And they suffered, Baruch. They suffered for years. I even went to try to help her cook. We all pulled our money together before the internet. Can you imagine pulling money together before the internet? And then we finally thought that he was in remission. And then they both just died out of nowhere. All of that love, all of that young, beautiful love, for what? But I can't. My mother gets really, really quiet. And then she goes, remember, nothing matters even if you fall in love, because then death comes and takes it from your cold, dead hands. Now we have to go. You're late for basketball Little League. The first time I fell in love, I didn't know what it was. I just felt more alive than I had ever felt in my life. I felt like I was flying all the time. Like being a closeted gay kid, I was like, now I understand musicals! Just like, people would ask me how I was, and I would be like, I'm fine, actually I'm great! It's gonna be amazing. And of course I fell in love with a straight guy, but I was like, oh, love will find a way! He was older than me, he was like a junior, the lead in all the musicals, and I was just a weird, chubby, closeted artist. And he made me like write so many poems, and I would hide them in his locker. And he was a really liberal, like gay-friendly guy, so he just thought it was cute. And I would like paint him things and paint him things. Finally, I started writing music to him in my, like in secret. But one time I was in the theater, it was lunch, and all the lights were off except for the light above the piano. And I was playing a song that I had written to him, and I was like trying not to cry because I was like so in love. And I was never gonna get to kiss him because he's straight. And then I hear his voice from behind me go, "Did you write that?" And I almost shit my pants. And then the love of my life, this hot, way too hot for high school. Even my mom was like, "That boy's in high school." She was like, "Some of these white boys are made very, very well." Like, my mom thought he was hot. Y'all just think what my little 16-year-old heart. So he sits next to me and he's like, "Play it again." And so I played again, and he just goes, "Dude, that sounds like you. Are you in love with someone?" And I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "Who did you write that for?" And I just got really quiet, and he was like, "Oh no. Did you write that for me?" And I was like, "And I will keep writing them for you." And he gets very quiet, and he goes, "I'm not into dudes. I'm so sorry." And I was like, "I know, that's okay." That's okay. And he goes, "But if I wasn't the dudes, trust me, I would be so into you." And I'm just like, "Okay." And then he leans over, touches my cheek, and gives me my first kiss. It was fucking amazing. And then he leans back and he goes, "Happy Valentine's Day." Because it was Valentine's Day. And he leaves. And I just keep playing music in the dark, and I just am like, I don't care if I'm eventually gonna die or get cancer or HIV. That was worth it. The end. Thank you, everyone.
We are so very lucky to have Baruch for so many reasons, not the least of which are those stories. Thank you again. And you have to know, Baruch has an incredibly long, incredibly impressive professional bio, which he sent me. But he also sent me this one, which I like better, so. Baruch Porras-Hernandez came here from Mexico to steal all your jobs, take all your men, and eat all your donuts. He's a performer, writer, storyteller, and stand-up comedian. Book him for your shows, follow him on Instagram, and give him money. If people want to know more about your work, where can they find you?
Please follow me on Instagram. I don't have any followers. I need more followers. But that's where I post all my shows. I also just, after I'm so happy to share a stage with Nazila because I admire her so much. And I met her back in 2007 at the Berkeley Poetry Slam, and that's how long I've been trying to write and perform poetry. And I finally published 2 small poetry collections. If you go to siblingrivalrypress.com, they published me. I got 2. I got the Sad Boy Poems one and the Dick Joke Poems one. And you can get both for $10 each with the discount code DONUTS. Please buy my books. Yay!